Hello, welcome to CC2 News. I'm the reporter Jack. As we know, Brunei has promulgated the serious penal code several weeks ago. And this news is about the Sharia law in Brunei, which made adultery and gay sex punishable by death from stoning and allows for the amputation of limbs for death. And Brunei's government says the laws are meant as a deterrent. And today, we invite a student who come from Indonesia because Indonesia is located near Brunei. Yeah, so we invite Angelina as our member. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, Angelina.
Hi, Jack. Hi.
So, first of all, let me ask you, you're from Indonesia?
Yes, I am.
So are you a Muslim?
Actually, no, I'm not Muslim. Even though a lot of my friends are Muslim, but I am not. I am Buddhist.
You're Buddhist. Okay. As we know, this serious punishment law in Brunei and the United Nations and international human rights groups has denounced the punishment and is saying the amount to the torture and the violation of human rights. Yeah, let me first introduce the country of Brunei. And Brunei is a former British colony and is a tiny sultanate which locates on the Southeast Asia island. And Brunei gained its independence from the United Kingdom on 1st of January 1984. And its economic growth during the 1990s and 2000s. And Brunei has the second highest HDI, which means Human Development Index among Southeast Asian countries after Singapore. And it is classified as developed country. And the Forbes magazine also ranks Brunei as the 5th richest nation out of 182 based on its petroleum and natural gas fields. So, after the brief introduction of the country Brunei, let me ask Angelina some questions. So, this is the Sultan of the country Brunei. And first question, yeah, when you heard about this serious Sharia law in Brunei, what do you think about this?
After hearing about this news, at first I was quite shocked, but later I thought about, because of this Islamic law, for me, I think it's really kind of like an absurd law. Even though I know that it is a religious law, it really is about, because they talk about the punishment as what the God or Allah, what they call the God Allah wants, so they think that it is a right thing to do. But as for me, from another point of view, I don't think that this is a really good way to, punish people, because it is really like injustice, and that's what I really think about it.
So as we know, Indonesia is the biggest Islamic country in the world. So when you heard about this news, you feel so unbelievable?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked at first.
Kind of shocked at. So the second question is, in facing uproar, the Brunei government says this law is to educate and nurture their citizens and the tourists who visit Brunei. So what do you think?
I was more shocked when I heard that it's not only applied to the citizen but also the travelers. It's like at first it's called Islamic law, right? So I thought of like they will just educate the people who believe in this religion. So it doesn't really apply to other people, right? So I thought, like, why should they need to punish people outside their religion. So it's not really, I think it's really injustice, and I think it's really not justice.
Okay. And in Indonesia, when you in Indonesia,
Yeah.
are there some similar situation or circumstances similar to these laws, this kind of Sharia law?
There are several news that I've heard before, but I don't think it applies now. I've heard that there are death penalty, like shooting.
Shooting?
Yeah, like that is one way of death penalty, but I think that applies to maybe like drug offenses and also theft and other murder. And
But not for gay sex.
I don't think so, but that is another, yeah, there's another issue.
Yeah,
about
that's
gay
another
sex.
story in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you in Indonesia, are there some serious discrimination against LGBT group in your country?
I think the issue of the LGBT issue in Indonesia is growing, and I know that some of the people don't really want to go publicly when they are, gay or lesbian, because they might be discriminated. But as I've heard, they have. I don't think I've really noticed any real discrimination around me. But I do know that this discrimination in Indonesia is still growing. Yeah.
It's still growing.
Yes.
Because of its Islamic background
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
and the religion.
Yeah, because they think that this is like a sin. They think having gay marriage or gay sex is really a sin, and it's not what Allah wants. So they think this is really punishable and an issue in Indonesia.
And the normal marriage in Indonesia is only one male and one female
Yes.
married together.
Yes. I believe so.
The most of the citizens believe it. Okay. And if this law applied in Indonesia, like gay sex and adultery was sentenced to death, applied in Indonesia, yeah, what do you think?
I don't think that this is the right way, as you said, to educate people. I know that it's just like the issue of death penalty. Like many people, debate about how death penalty is a way to educate people to not do something bad. But I think this is really not the right way to do so, and it's also applied to other people that is outside this belief, this religion. So it's really absurd for me, and I don't think it works. It will work that well, and I don't think it will be better in the future. Yes.
So you agree that this kind of law can apply?
I don't think
In
it is
Indonesia.
effective at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we know Indonesia has a large amount of population,
Yeah.
like around
Like 2 or 3
billion.
billions. Yeah.
Okay. And because we know that Brunei is a tiny country, tiny sultanate in Southeast Asia island, and its population is only 430,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this kind of law in Indonesia it shouldn't be promulgated in
Yeah,
Indonesia.
I don't think so. Since there's this amount of population, it means that there will be a lot of people being punished, right? And it's not justice at all. I don't think this is really a good idea.
Okay. And you think the thought of Indonesian should enhance in the future? Yeah. Should be better improved.
Yeah, I think so. Like, for example, from the discrimination of LGBT, that should be decreased, not increased in the future. And I think they need to have a different thought about, or the view of LGBT itself and also this law. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for Angelina's comment. And in conclusion, we think this is a kind of law doesn't match to 21st century. Yeah, and we are astonished about that Brunei is going forward with it. And this kind of serious punishment in Brunei will turn this country into a human rights pariah, even though Brunei is extremely wealthy, they have a lot of money, but the thought of their citizens are going down, and unfortunately we can't change it, but we hope Brunei government will have a better thought about this topic. Yeah, let's thank you,
Thank you.
Angelina.
Bye-bye.